Yes, we are live. We are live once again with the Reentry Connect podcast. Y'all know how we do it, y'all. I got some special guests on here tonight. We're going to be speaking on a topic concerning how easy it is to lose your mind. So, you know, when we speak on this podcast, we usually talk about different things about people re-entering society and different experiences that they had inside as well. So, we're going to go ahead and try to enlighten you all with some of the things from different perspectives. And here it is. I have my good bro here, Mr. Rel, CEO of the Hip Hop National Flag. He's in the building. Brother Tony Lee is on here as well, but I'm not sure what happened to his camera. We're going to bring him back up as soon as he comes back. So without further ado, Mr. CEO Rel, you go ahead and spit your accolades and let them know what you represent from over New York, please.
How you doing, man? You know, you representing us. It's called H&F Hip Hop Nationals Flag. And what that pretty much represents is the reminder of the contributions we gave to the world through our cultural arts of hip hop. You know, the elements, the four elements, graphic designing, DJing, MCing, and dancing.
Nice.
And those four elements, we created a culture, a unique culture that affected every corner of the earth.
Nice. I appreciate that. And we got Mr. Tony Lee back. Mr. Tony Lee, you can go ahead and state your name and where you from, what you represent.
Good evening. This is Brother Levi, Tony Lee, Tribe of Levi Foundation. That's who I'm representing, CEO. Basically, I'm reaching out today. I want to get to some of these youth. Hopefully, we get some youth on the line and reach some of these youth.
Cool. So listen, so the first question we're going to throw out there, as far as like reflecting on the title of how easy it is to lose your mind. So before we get to the part of the re-entry, I know that all three of us spent time in prison at one point in time. Now, if you can give just a little synopsis of what type of things took place in prison that almost caused you to lose your mind. If we could start off with Mr. CEO Rel, if you could go ahead and just give us a little bit of your input on some of the things that transpired while you were there.
Well, when I was incarcerated, unfortunately, I did a time in the RHU, which is the hold. So in the hold, they got a cell it's called a hard cell. All you got in there is a toilet. Sometimes they put you in a room. They handcuff you just after they done brought you off the block, hog tied in the cart. So they handcuff you, leave you handcuffed in the cell, cut your clothes off, leave you there for days. Right? With the intent of probably execute me. So, however, during this process, the victims, I was a victim. I was in the hard cell. I experienced that for 3 days. I remember this. The sound system of 3 days, the food, lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's how I know at least 3 days went by. After that, I kind of like blanked out. But guess what these guys was doing while I was in there? They were so skilled at throwing my food from the wicker into the toilet without even coming into the cell.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So even if I could have got to it, I couldn't even eat it. So I'm handcuffed in the cell, my clothes cut off. And it's cold. It's the wintertime. It's the wintertime. They left me there for actually, I know I can 3 days. I know I remember 3 days. After that, I kind of when they kind of woke me up to conscious, or, when I came to, they gave me like a cheese sandwich or some tea, but it tasted like steak and eggs. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? I wouldn't really tell the difference.
So you've been through that much trauma to the point whereas you was being starved to the point to whereas you were really about to lose your mind. But then when you did come and get a meal, it was like a 4 or 5 star meal that you received due to the starvation.
Yes.
That's powerful. I'm glad that you shared that. And that definitely enlightens a lot of things that a lot of people actually are curious about. Because a lot of people think we go to prison because we get turned out by gangs and things like that. But no, it's simple facts of being locked down in solitary confinement can do a lot in its own. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know, but we can be in a cell and walk miles and miles in an 8x10, miles and miles pacing back and forth. You know what I mean? So it's very powerful. So go ahead, Tony Lee. We're gonna let you go ahead, and we're gonna let you spit on that. What can you share about that? Like how, in some way, form, or fashion, that you almost lost your mind while you were in prison.
Okay, so when it happened to me, basically, I had made parole. I had triple RI, and I had made parole. And the bottom line, I was granted parole, and they gave me a date where I was supposed to go home, which was January 21st, 2021. So December, November, I know that I'm going home. I'm making plans. I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to do what I got to do. Next thing you know, they looked onto my docket sheet and they seen that I had an open case, which never got addressed since 2.5 years ago when I first received my sentence for one case. I never got addressed for the other case. So the case was left open due to COVID. And I was supposed to, first of all, this was an injustice that I wanted to bring to the light, to public. Basically, I was arrested 3 times within 4 months for 3 different charges in 3 different counties. Okay. I took a plea bargain as I was going to trial. I took a plea bargain for 2 charges, and the third charge that I caught, which was fleeing and eluding, I never got to court. So I got arrested in June, and I had a court date in July. The system never took me to go to my court dates for my hearing. You understand what I'm saying? So I caught a bench warrant while I was in custody. And they did this as a tactic because I paid so many bails consecutively that they wasn't going to let me pay bail no more. So what they did was they held me in jail knowing that I had a court date in another county. And instead of taking me to my court date, they left me in that jail, which was Luzerne County. When I had to go 1 county over, which was Lackawanna County, they didn't take me to court and they let me catch a bench warrant. And then that bench warrant stuck on me all the way through my state sentence. Wow. And due to COVID, they never brought me back down. They gave me a court date to come down and handle my court date. But then by the time my court date came, they did the same thing again. They never took me to court.
Okay, so how did that affect
Okay, so what that did, and when it was time for me to go home, they looked that up in the system and they said, you have a failure to appear bench warrant from 2019. I said, I had a court date for this, and they said that was dismissed because they had 180 days to bring this case forth, and they never did that. I wrote letters to the courts. I went to the law. I did everything I could to bring to light that I wasn't supposed to be in jail no more after January 21st. It's something called rescinded decision. They make a decision on you, and they rescind it. They take it back. They took back my parole, and I had to see the parole board all over again. That had me to jail, and I had to stay in jail until May from January. That made me lose my mind. I had a job set up. I had a home plan set up. I thought I was going to see my kids. And next thing you know, I was back in jail. And not even that, the people that was on my block that knew I was getting ready to go home was so bad that I had parole that they was constantly trying to start things with me and all that. You know what I mean? So that turned into people trying to take my parole and have me get resentenced on a new charge because people was testing me, owing me money. They want to play cards with me and burn me for money and act like they don't want to pay me, try to pay me with soap and little stuff. I'm paying them with meat and they paying me with soap. Like everybody tried to attack me on my way out. So I started going crazy and I lost my mind. And the only way that I got my mind back is through the power of God. Because I got down on my knees and I prayed to God and I said, please, Lord, help me get through this. Please, Lord. And he gave me the patience to stand all the attacks that I was being attacked with. And I still made it out on May 11th, 2021.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And that's very good that you say that because it just shows that post-release can have a huge impact on when you are released.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you to this. Going with Mr. CEO Rel first. What type of challenges due to your past traumas hindered you from doing certain and normal things when you return to society? 1 second, Mr. Rel, can't hear you. Okay, here you go.
All right, the challenges I had was society was a little different. I was arrested in the early 90s. So I came out mid-2000s, phones, all that stuff, everything was different. So I remember going to I went to college for the Art Institute. So I had my classes and stuff like that. And I didn't know what the mouse was, icon. I didn't know these things. So, man, these people, they advanced with it. They making movies. I got students around me making movies. I'm like a dinosaur. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a dinosaur. I didn't know what these things was. We didn't have consistent access to these things. When you go to computer class, when it was in school, you go to computer class. So we didn't have these access. So I wasn't, even though I was trying to pursue multimedia production. But that's why I went to college for. So me getting to that field, because that's what I was, I'm in the music, I'm in the hip hop, I'm in the era. So I was trying to expand, my education in that. So those were that was very difficult. I had to get with a classmate of mine and say, pull it to the side up and then disrupt the class and say, explain my situation. Now, say I need some assistance because maybe on the side, because I don't know none of this stuff. And I don't want to be interrupting the class, because that's what I initially had to do. I had to keep asking the teacher, what's this, what's that? And now, even though I need to, I'm paying him. He's going to answer my questions. I'm paying him. I ain't leaving here without knowing what I need to know. You understand what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, I didn't want to be disruptive. Whereas though now we can't even go nowhere, because this, you gotta a person don't know in the back, and he's slowing everybody up. So in that school, so like I said, that was one of the steps that I said I was incurred. Like I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to do something like I wanted to expand my mind on the crafts, on the skills that I had. So going to Art Institute for Media Production, that was one of the options that I favored.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that, man. It just shows that things can be a little complicated when we come out, especially when we spent, especially over decades in prison and things like that. Even spending a year in prison, you could fall behind on a lot of things. Thanks. You know what I mean? So, but Tony Lee, let you share some of the challenges and the things that you may have faced after all the things you've been through. Like what type of obstacles was there, when you were transitioning? What type of things were you challenged on?
All right, listen to me. It get kind of heavy. It get kind of personal. The obstacles I had to face coming home from jail. First of all, half of the people that I thought was really in my corner and that was going to love me unconditionally and be there for me, that I was talking to on the phone, once I got there live from out of jail, I really realized that everybody don't care nothing but themselves and their immediate family. They don't care about nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Now, I held back the anger because I had a lot of anger from prison for things that I did for people while they was in prison, and for things that people didn't do for me that I just knew that they would. They didn't, and I still treated them the same, but I still had that thought in the back of my mind, like, damn, you ain't have no love for me, my kids, my mom, nothing. Like, you ain't had no rap. And I made sure I could do whatever I could do for you whenever I could. But then when I get to the worst situation of my life, nobody's nowhere to be found. So that was a strong hurdle. I got shot back 2021, so I got a limp in my leg, I got rods and screws, and I literally had to go and work in a factory every morning, 5:30 in the morning, just to get out of a halfway house. First of all, I didn't have nobody in this world and my family or nothing to give me a place to live at. So I had to go to a halfway house on Erie Avenue just to have a place to get out of jail. You know what I'm saying? Now that halfway house was really like jail for real. It wasn't home. It was jail. Count time, everything. You know what I'm saying? So on top of that, I had to be able to get out of this halfway house, I had to go to work, because that's the only way they let you out. You don't get out no other kind of way. So I had to go and work at a refrigerator factory. 5:30 in the morning, I had to wake up to be there at 7:30 in the morning just to work until 3:30. I'm talking about I'm already disabled, so my back is burning, my legs are burning, and I'm doing this just to have some way to survive and to be able to get out of this halfway house. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People talking to me like trash. You understand what I'm saying? And then I have to deal with the fact that I know all the people that sat here and stole everything I owned in life before I went to jail. You understand what I'm saying? And I had to sit here and look at these people just prospering in my face. You understand what I'm saying? Knowing that they stole from me heavy when I got locked up, and I had to deal with that. You understand what I'm saying? So that drove me a lot of crazy too.
Got you. So, wow. So that's deep as well. Like you said, sometimes when we do go to prison, a lot of times, we believe that a lot of individuals that knew us before we were incarcerated, some people we may have took care of, or we may have been close to and treated like literally closer than family. But when we come on, we realize that people really, they just living life and doing them. You know what I'm saying? And for real, when we really look at it from a reentry perspective, I mean, nobody owes us anything. I mean, I understand that we all grown men, but sometimes we do put expectations on people, hoping to receive us in return. I told somebody that the other time, we expect, and a lot of times we always look for ourselves and other people. Sometimes it don't work out that way. You know what I mean? So Now let me ask you this. This is just another quick question. If
Right.
by chance, if there was one thing that you could change or help individuals that were coming out to society, what type of things, what type of solutions do you believe would be and bring a positive impact to individuals that return to society? Go ahead, give it a kick, Mr. CEO.
I would say find something that you know you good at. Find any talent that nobody have to teach you. I mean, well, you somebody can teach you, but find a talent, that a skill, ability that you know how to do. Hone it and you brand it, and that's your whether it's a speaking ability. Some people know how to speak real good. Some people know how to draw. All those things are the same. Here in America, you need some kind of product, some kind of business to survive out here. That's what they ain't telling us. You understand? We don't know this, so we don't know how to do it. We don't know how to engage in these things properly to hold us down in generational wealth. So that's one thing I wish meant we have to know now. Get some kind of business, but it starts with your own very skill set, because we all have them. We all have them. So we have to find your skill set, develop it. Nobody can do you better than you. Put it together, flap your wings, and fly.
Cool.
Take time
Okay,
to do it.
Mr. Tony Lee, let me get you go ahead and give a try at it. What do you believe? What type of impacts or what type of things or advice could you give, or what type of solutions do you believe would, if we're provided, people will have a better way of transitioning?
All right. First and foremost, it's the spiritual guidance. Like, you got to believe in God. You got to know that it's a power outside of yourself that's stronger than you. And you have to not only have a connection, you have to have a constant connection with the maker. Any way that you can. You could put that in any language you want to put it in, put it any way you want to put it. You have to have your own personal constant connection with the maker of this universe. And you have to talk to him frequently. You have to include him inside of the things that you do while you're living, because he's the reason why you're alive. That's the first thing first. Second thing is everyone needs some mental health evaluation, and everyone needs some kind of therapy evaluation to see if they need some help. Let the professionals decide whether you need help. Stop saying what you don't need, and let the professionals talk to you. Be real with the professionals. Tell them what's really going on in your mind and how you feel about things and what you be thinking about and what you be doing, and let them decide if you need help. And if they say you need help, take the help.
Yeah, and one thing I'm gonna say about that, and I don't oppose to what you're saying with that, but sometimes, Tone, the help, some of the best help comes from people that have been through the experience.
Yes, sir.
A lot of times, I don't knock any psychiatrist or therapist that's out here. I know there's plenty probably watching right now. But however, sometimes learning to cope and having a peer assistant of somebody of equal, and what I mean of equal is somebody that's been through the similar situations that you've been through, because it's very hard to try to teach somebody something that doesn't understand your culture, has never been, around your upbringing, or even, ate similar type of food that you've eaten. You know what I'm saying? You got some people that ate whole foods all their life, but then you got some that's been poisoned by a lot of the stuff that's out here in the world that we just don't know about. But I will say again, I don't oppose for people to get help. Is definitely if you feel as though there's a mental challenge that's going on, yeah, absolutely, reach out for help. If you have to talk to somebody, if you have to, call somebody for assistance, if you have to call a hotline, crisis, because there's been plenty of people that reached out to me that were transitioning, and a lot of them were, they were contemplating suicide. They were saying they wanted to go back to what they know. Why? Because their mind was playing tricks on them. But I was thinking like, wow, you just did 25, 30 years. Why are you even considering picking up a gun again? Why are you even considering going back and, and selling drugs? These type of things are, are types, it gives us that temptation of just like, just doing it all over again. When, again, it all goes back to the mindset. Okay, we got some comments here. Thank you, everybody. Again, welcome back. Again, the Reentry Connection podcast. We got it going on how we may lose our mind, like how easy it is. And Bayak said right here, he said mental health is real and major pathway towards success or failure. And that's totally true. Appreciate you. You got another comment here by Jasmine. Change your environment. Change your environment is very important too. Your environment, I believe, it definitely has an effect on the way you think. It has an effect on the way you move. It has an effect, you know what I'm saying, on your everyday living, period. You understand what I'm saying? They say what? If you hang around one drug addict, you'll be the third. You know, you'll be the second. You hang around two, you know, excuse me, I don't want to say the wrong words, but if you hang around two knuckleheads, you'll be the third. If you hang around two millionaires, you'll be the third. So it's all about, you know, again, the people, places, and things, people, you know, that we contact, you know, we're in contact with, who we communicate, our network. Our network is our net worth. How many times do we hear that? You know what I mean? So my next question out there right now, yeah, because I know it's a lot of individuals that are listening to things like that. And Jasmine mentioned something else. She said, facts, hang around a barbershop long enough, you'll get a haircut. Absolutely. You're definitely right. We appreciate that. And here it is. Yeah, so my next question is, what was the most challenging thing when you did return? What was, I just want you to name one. What was the most challenging thing when you did transition to the outside? I'm gonna go ahead and let you give, Mr. CEO.
The most challenging thing for me was definitely not going back to the streets. I mean, not because you want to be in that stuff, because man, it don't be many options. It don't be many options. So you got to figure out, I need to eat. I was a kid when I went in. I was an adult when I came out. I was in way different situations. As a kid, I mean, even though I held myself down, I wasn't responsible for it. But as an adult, I'm responsible for it. You understand what I'm saying? So it was like, it was, I had to, it was, man, everything was different. So transition is like figuring out how I'm going to hold myself down. And, we can always get a job. I mean, you got to get a job. You want to make some money. But I'm saying at the same time, the job don't necessarily mean you're holding yourself down. You can have a job and still be struggling. You understand? So that was the hardest thing that I had to, the transition. You're going to get people pockets. People gave you money when you come home. People gave me money. People did give me money. I got some good people in my family and my friends who gave me money. But that's besides. Like, you got to make your own way. A grown man carry his own weight, and so figuring out that and being comfortable with it, and know that it's not going to send me back to the streets or have me doing anything that's going to sidetrack me to take me away from my family. That was gold. That was key.
Powerful. How about you, Toy? What were one of the toughest things you had to face when you did transition?
The most toughest thing I had to face. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can see your phone on the camera too. But it's all good, though. It's all good.
The hardest thing, the hardest trial and tribulation, first and foremost, the heaviest thing was not to come out here and really do something to people. You know what I'm talking
about? Hold on.
Seriously.
Put you on solo view. Repeat that.
It was a full-time job not to kill niggas out here. You understand me?
Okay. All right. Watch the terminology, but I respect your honesty. It's all right. I respect your honesty.
But it was full time for me not to go and really like retaliate on people for how they did me in jail, for how they crossed me, how they talked about me, stole stuff from me, everything else. And I really had to like lock in and really not and look people in their face, knowing they did what they did to me, and then act like they didn't and still show them love. Just because I love their family, I love everybody. I can't just go against one and not go against all. Because y'all all together. So at the end of the day, just because one person violated me out of a whole group of 5 people, I can't just say F the 5. So I had to deal with the violations and live with it. Then on top of that, I had to find a way to survive out here without selling drugs no more. Because the only thing I've been doing for 20 years was selling drugs. I haven't sold a drug since I came out here. So now I had to figure out a way to survive. Disabled, can't even work, and then I can't sell drugs and do what I used to do. So now how do I survive? But I had people in my family that love me. I got my cousin Red. I had modern language. First person say, listen, I got you back, huh? Don't go backwards. Look what I'm doing. I got a detail shop. I'm doing clothes and like people showing me how they're making it out here without selling drugs. You understand what I'm saying? That's what gave me enough strength to really stick in there for that long, get through parole, go get a CDL, and really stick it out without going backwards and selling no drugs.
Wow, powerful, powerful. So with us speaking on that, like us keeping our minds off of doing the wrong thing. Like me, I was definitely big on the people I was around and, the people I allowed to pour into me. Like even since, when I was incarcerated, through the things I've been through the betrayals, thinking that certain friends were friends, but they wound up pointing the finger at me. You know what I'm saying? And I was a juvenile. We were juveniles. So when you look back on it now, you're like, okay, kids are going to be kids. That's the type of stuff that happened when you don't know no better. But long story short, it scarred me so much that I allowed my circle to just be completely thin. I didn't allow nobody to come in except for a mentor and my godmother. That was it. It wasn't even though I knew people that was from high school, people was hitting me up on Facebook and stuff like that. I knew a lot of people that I remember from back in the day, but I didn't trust nobody. Didn't nobody come around and give me a dime, whatever the case may be. And I wasn't even expecting it. And I didn't even ask nobody. So everything that I have now, I had to build from the ground up. And it wasn't easy, but I knew that it would come in time. You see what I'm saying? So one thing I want you to mention now, and I know we're coming up close to the 30-minute mark, what was one of the biggest accomplishments that you achieved since you returned home from your incarceration? Go ahead, Mr. CEO.
Oh man, I achieved the biggest accomplishment is my children. Children always that's my biggest accomplishment. I know my father, but like most, my father wasn't in my life at the time. So having my children and being a father to my children, watching them grow up from babies to first to the having that bond, being able to drill sergeant them, so to speak. Yo, man, put him on point, because I always tell him I didn't have this. Take advantage of this. Daddy didn't have this. This is the best thing you can get. So kids gonna be kids, but I always try to instill them in them and watching them grow up and having that relationship with my children.
Powerful.
That beats everything.
That's powerful. I thank you for sharing that, and that's good, because people don't understand how precious, like you say, children are, and they actually can slow us down from going back to prison and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? I tell somebody the other day, I said, listen, you always willing to die for your homies, but not willing to live for your kids. That it just doesn't add up. You willing to die for your homies. You know what I'm saying? You rather stay on the street corner freezing outside cold instead of finding a way to go chill with your kids and live for them. You know what I mean? So, well, Mr. Tony, if you could go ahead and expound on one of the best things you've accomplished since you returned to society.
Currently right now, one of the best things I did accomplish since being in society is I accomplished parole. I finished parole. I completed parole. You know what I'm saying? Incident free, arrest free, no dirty urines, nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Congratulations. That's what's up.
Accomplishment was my CDL back a few months ago. I got my Class A CDL.
Salute.
All state career.
That's what's up. So you could drive the trucks, CDL track, or you could do it all now. You see what I'm saying? And just imagine when you're looking back 20 years ago, did you ever think you would probably accomplish something like that?
Never.
But it all came with that mindset, like, look, everybody else is leveling up out here. I got to get with it. And I'm not speaking upon, because a lot of people come home and they see these Instagram illusions, they see the Facebook illusions, and they try to keep up with the Joneses as if like, oh yeah, I gotta hurry up and get what they get, when they don't know that all that stuff is a facade. A lot of them, they posting cars that's not really theirs. They posting cribs. There's so many things that people just get misconstrued, because for a minute when I came, I was like, Dad, how these people? Because mind you, I went away for a long time. So when all this, the hands of times change, it's like, damn, everybody got all this. I gotta try to catch up. But then the reality had to say, I'm like, hold up. You got to take your time and try to understand, how life works. I always tell people that understand how life works first, and then you start going for things that, you definitely need versus your wants. And
Yes,
then
sir.
later on down the line, when you're able to afford certain wants, go ahead and do that. So that's a great, a great analogy. So listen here, I know Tony Lee, I know we got a couple brothers backstage right now.
Yes, sir.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually bring them up on stage. I
Okay.
think it's gonna be Mr. Styles and the brother Mr. William, and we're gonna get with them, and then we just gonna free fall and let us know what they represent and how they do it. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Here we go. Mr. Styles is on there. He representing the Eagles right there. We appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead, Mr. Styles. Go ahead and give the people who you are and what your accolades are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'm tuning in, fellas. I hear everything you're saying. I appreciate you having me. This most likely this is my first live stream. Not too much a social media guy, so this is my first. Excuse me if I'm not too aware of certain things. You know what I mean?
It's all good. It's all good. Even if you want to just give your introduction, you cool to chill. It's all right. Then we can always come back, follow up. I know Tony Lee did a spirit of the moment thing, throwing people on, but it's all right, though. You know what I mean? We definitely move on.
Yes.
We're gonna get Mr. Will up here. Okay. Let's see where we at. All right, Mr. Will HD. All right. The mentor. Okay, we can't hear you. You're on mute right now, Mr. Will. Yeah, we see you smiling over there. We might, you got to take it off.
Man.
So you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
On, man?
All right.
My name Herbert Wayne. I go by Wayne Mr. Mentor. My brother Levi, that's my partner, and my man Rel, they my partners out here. Okay. My man Yama K said he put him on the ball, and I don't know, I ain't seen him yet. But we out here, man. We got the Tribe of Levi Foundation. We got Street Family Behavioral Health Care. We got life outside the streets. You know what I'm saying? We got subhanAllah, bro. Give me your job one more time, bro. I got issues with my memory.
Okay. It's all good. It's all good.
You know what I mean? But the thing is, I know Rel, you know what I'm saying? So as long as I got him, I can remember what he's doing later. You know what I'm saying? I got him first.
Okay. Cool.
I named my company, I'm a emotional support consultant. I just came home. I did 17 years in the penitentiary. Straight up and down, 12:30, 6 o'clock both ways. I ain't cutting no corners. And I came home with a plan. I utilized what I learned there when it came to programs and aligning your life and a setting that can help you adjust to who you are. You know what I'm saying? And through my experience, I came up with my own programs that I feel as though that help the people, that help anyone that is of comprehension age. Age is a comprehension. When you realize something wrong and you're going to retaliate, my program for you.
Cool. And we appreciate that, the mentor. We appreciate that a lot, man. And congrats on you coming home. Like, we know how that feeling is, man, and especially the feeling of, keeping that positive mindset, keeping our minds on the right thing, mentoring the youth, showing them like, look, young buck, stop while you ahead, because it's not what you want going in there. It ain't what you think. A lot of them homies you stand on that corner with, you squeezing the trigger with, they're not going to be the ones that's going to send you no JPEG. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to send you no money. So think while you're ahead. So a lot of young fellas that are watching right now, a lot of the parents, a lot of the mothers, the fathers that are watching right now, share this with your children. Let them know that it's not a joke in there. It's not a joke.
And your homie,
it's not a joke.
No, and your homie that you was riding with be knocking off your ex and disrespecting your mom and disrespecting your mom. When she told him not to do that, he disrespected her. And they had the same respect that he held when you was on the street.
Absolutely. And a lot of that transpires. Like I said, it's a lot of things that go on. It's a lot of things that we try to give a forewarning about. So again, Like I said, I know we coming up on the 35-minute mark. Like I said, Brother Styles and the mentor. I know we just we've been on the show for a little bit, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ready to end it. So if we can just go around one more time and we just give our accolades one more last time, and we're gonna go around, we're gonna end this thing. We can always come back on the show at another time. I appreciate everybody coming on here, sharing their, their little not necessarily 2 cents, but sharing their experience, sharing their experience. And Mr. Styles, like, I hope to hear more from you, in the future as well. So go ahead, Mr. CEO, you can start it off, followed up by Tony. Your last accolades before we, any little giveaways you want to give the people.
All right, well, check out HNF. Go on your Instagram, IG, you hashtag HNF. You can look at my IG, ENAHG _IS _EN energy _ universal 9. I can, some of the numbers ain't coming up, but check hashtag HNF, and peace out to all the brothers that was on the panel. It was great energy. It was very, these things got to happen kind of often. We can have these, at least once a week, get together and get some of that energy back to our peoples. Like I said, everybody tuned in, appreciate that. It was just a good experience.
Absolutely.
Shout out to everybody.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Styles. You want to kick it off?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. My cousin over there, Tony Lee. I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Your family. So that meant a lot to me. I'm promoting my first novel, Brotherly Hate. I just published it.
Cool.
I'm just trying to expand it for the world to read and support me. And I've been through a lot. I thank God to be here today, and I thank God to accomplish that task. And there's more to come, but you can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all over the world, on the internet. You can Google me, Neneth Lee Holder. Brotherly Hate, based on Southwest Philadelphia.
Cool.
Fictional, urban fiction, but life experiences. We live in poverty and what we've been through, starting from the young generation all the way on up.
Cool.
So the things I about, and I just want to just thank y'all for having me, and every story that I've heard.
Cool.
Yes, my experiences in life. So I just want to thank y'all. That's all.
Thank you. Yeah, and we appreciate that a lot. All right, go ahead, Mr. Tony Lee. You up next. You can go ahead and unmute yourself. You mute yourself over there.
Listen, this for me personally, this is such a good feeling because I know other people can't see, but y'all don't know that I see inside of each one of y'all movements. You know what I'm saying? I've been watching your movement, Keenan. I've been watching Keenan movement for at least a year and a half, right? And I met him at a seminar. I've been watching Brother Rel for at least a half a year to almost a year. Met him in the studio. My cousin, I just found out that my own cousin got a book. Didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I knew about your book because I was at your book signing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't go to his book signing because I didn't know he had a book. You know what I'm saying? And he's the last person I would think that would have a book, but then look at this though. You know what I'm saying? But once you get into it and read it, I want people to dig into your book because you didn't mention it on here, but I need you to before you get off. And I just want to thank everybody for their time. Hopefully we can do this more often.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. And once again, we right here on the Reentry Connect podcast. That's how we doing it. We were expounding on how easy it is to lose your mind, but here it is. We didn't allow that defeat to conquer us. We didn't allow it to overcome us, even though we've been through inside and even the things we've been through outside, but we still didn't allow it to defeat us. You know what I mean? We got the victory. And like you said, it's only by the grace of God we're here, to everybody, that has a connection with their higher power. That's the one you have to connect with, in order to understand that life is for you and it will be of best benefit to reach out to the one you rely on to help you through your everyday life. You know what I mean? And as Tony Lee said, he wanted me to throw my book in there. But you can see it in the background, Keenan Hudson, Unspoken Truth and Life Story. Feel free to go to KeenanHudson.com to purchase the book, or you go on Amazon. Also, y'all can go ahead and tune in to the Reentry Connect podcast on different platforms through the Buzzsprout, through Amazon. You can go through the Spotify. It's on Apple Music and everything. Feel free to just type my name in, Keenan Hudson. I'm sure it'll pop right up. So without further ado, we're going to sit here. We're going to get ready to end this night. We appreciate everybody for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you again to all the guests that came. We're going to give it the final good nights here. It's still early. It's only 7:45. But
we still with you.
We still here. And again,
we're still with you, bro.
Yeah, I can do it. And we're gonna come back on. We definitely gonna come back on. We're gonna be sharing everything. We're gonna come up with other things, because this reentry goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? It's not about just losing mind, it's about, as he's mentioned, your spirituality, the type of things you do every day, your physicality, how your recreation is. Are you keeping in shape? As me, I know I gained a lot of weight. Let's say I was skinny dog. I was playing ball, dunking on everybody. I mean, I can still get up there, but you know what I'm saying? But sometimes life happens.
Yeah.
You worried about other stuff, and it's like you can't really maneuver, especially when you choose certain careers or certain, different types of entrepreneurships that you want to achieve. Like, things change, and if you're not wary or alert, things can creep up on you because, and I always say that, see, time, we don't lose a lot of time, but time to us is like a time zone. How can I say it? A month is like a year to us, just like a year is like a month. So time can go by and us not really even knowing that, 5 years are going by already, and we're still not where we want to be. We may have accomplished things, but again, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and drop it. Again, Reentry Connect podcast, how easy it was to lose your mind. We appreciate everybody. And until next